Ladies and gentlemen, the game of chess has absolutely exploded, and there are many ways that you can enjoy it online. You can play against bots, you can play against people, you can enjoy some YouTube content, instructional or goofy. We can watch 400 ELO chess, we can watch the best players in the world play chess. We can also watch the best bots in the world go head to head. You see, in the chess world, there is something called TSEC. I always forget what it stands for, TCEC, and it's essentially the Computer Chess Championship of the world. And the two best computers in the world are Stockfish and Leela. Now, in today's video, I will share with you a game that they played. They play 100 games against each other in the recent edition of the finals. If you want me to make a video covering all the best games of that match, I will. But in today's video, I'm going to show you the two best bots in the world playing probably the most insane opening that exists. Yes, very good, the London system. You're so smart. He's so clever. No, the best bots in the world playing the craziest opening to exist, which is the King's Gambit. The King's Gambit is absolutely nuts because you are giving away a pawn and you're opening up your king to a check. I mean, it literally is the most dangerous gambit. There is no gambit that is more dangerous than this. Now, you may ask yourself, why are the best bots in the world playing this opening? Why are they not playing, knight f3, knight c6, and the Spanish? Well, they do. The thing is, if you just let two 3600 ELO bots play, they would draw every game. And the chess world has not gotten to a point where we are succumbing to our AI overlords. In fact, in the chess world, we mess around with the AI to make it play against each other in a way that we want. And so what we do is we make them play openings against each other with white and black. Now, we made them play a game of the King's Gambit. The best way to play against the King's Gambit is to accept it because you have queen h4 check, and now most people play the move knight f3. Not here. We made the bots play knight c3, which is a real opening. And after queen h4 check, white actually plays king e2 and then tries to play knight f3 and basically says, yeah, I mean, I've put my king here, but it's fine. So in this game, that's exactly what happened, just in a different move order. d5, black tries to win time here, trying to make one of white's pieces capture to open up the lines. Knight takes, queen h4 check, king to e2, and now the bots are on their own. This is a real opening. We made the bots play this position against each other, and good lord, it did not disappoint. Now, of course, you don't need to play like this, and this is being a bit laggy because this game file is extremely populated with annotations, so please excuse if it's a little bit laggy on your screen. Knight c3 is not the move you have to play. I mean, if you're going to play the King's Gambit, I would recommend playing knight f3, but this is what we have. Bishop g4 check, and now we have knight f3. And white is safe for now. White is safe for the time being. Black plays knight c6, and you may be asking yourself, isn't that just a fork? And the answer is yes. You see, black could have played the move bishop d6 and defended against the fork, but then white would have played d4, and then if black played something like knight c6, then white would have gotten a very, very powerful center, and black, of course, could have castled, and it would have been very complicated, and then, you know what the top engine move here is? It's king d3. Which is some dank stuff. The point is that the queen is hanging now that the pin is gone, so the queen probably has to move, and then the king would have walked to c2 and actually bishop d3, and white is completely safe. That would have been fun, but that didn't happen. Instead, we have knight c6, and white is able to just win a rook and a pawn for absolutely nothing. This is some wild stuff. You leave two bots to figure out an argument. Some crazy stuff is happening. Now, knight d4 check is possible, but it's a bad move, because the king runs out, and as we just saw, white wants to hide the king on c2. So what does black do? Black plays knight e5. Knight e5 is completely ridiculous, because what it does is it prevents the king from running away, and it threatens knight takes f3. You might say, so what? Then G takes F3. Well, it's bad because actually this is possible. And the point is that now the queen is able to drop back and you're going to lose the queen and you might be Leela chess 0. You ain't winning this position. So D4 is not possible. The knight on E5 is actually threatening to take and then play queen H5, which means white has really only one move here, and that's this. White needs to offer a trade of queens. If black takes, white is completely winning, but black is obviously not going to do that. Black is going to go knight takes F3, and now that hits the queen, and it defends the queen, and white has to take the queen. Why? Because I just showed you why. Bishop F3, but it's a slightly different thing. There is no queen there, but the king now is being deflected from the defense of the... I mean, this is some crazy stuff, right? Knight F3, queen H4, knight H4, king E1. What the heck is going on? White is up 3 points of material, but according to the computer is losing. Although this computer is basically a weaker version of that computer. So, I don't know. Now, white is up 3 points of material, but it's kind of trapped in the corner. So if you're up 3 points of material, but your 3 points of material is trapped in the corner of the board, are you really up 3 points of material? I don't know. I'm asking you. Also, all of white's pieces are stuck on the back rank. Black here plays G5, which is the top engine move. Stockfish giving Stockfish the blessing of playing the top engine move. G5 has a couple of ideas. Number one, it's trying to fianchetto the bishop. Number two, it's stabilizing the position here and taking space away from white, so white cannot easily break out. White, you can guess what white's best move here is, by the way. White has a bunch of pieces. What is white's best move? Of course, A4. What? Well, it's going to be really difficult for white to develop any pieces, and if white moves anything, things get weak. So white is just going to go try to rescue the knight. And also, white is going to try to develop from the side of the board somehow. Black now plays knight f6, which is a very natural move. White plays e5, perhaps the two most logical moves of the entire game. White did not play the move d3, because that would have blocked the bishop, and then black would have walked over and taken the knight. So instead, white tries to play e5 in the interest of time. Black plays f3. What? Why would you not move the knight? Knight e4, or maybe knight to d7 attacking the pawn. Time is of the essence. And Stockfish plays f3, completely disregarding the attack on the knight. The point is that white probably has to take this. Excuse me. White probably has to take this, because this is impossible. Knight takes f3 is a fork, picking up the pawn, and black is just in great shape. And white cannot play the move g3, because then f2 with tempo, knight e4 with tempo, and also bishop c5 with tempo, and yeah, this is slaughter. I mean, this is just brutalization here. Knight g1 discovered check. All right, I mean, knight e4, bishop f2 is mate. Look at this. Look at this position. White has every piece on a home square. There is a random knight here being an imposter. That knight is not a white knight. That's a black knight. And bishop f2 is mate. This is brutal stuff. So e takes f6. Okay. I'm pretty sure the move f3 was played in order to play f takes g2. And yet the computer is such a scumbag, it plays bishop d6. Do you know why it plays bishop d6? Because in chess, the two most important ways to evaluate who's better in a position are material and king safety. And right now, white's king ain't safe. White's king ain't safe, and none of these pieces are equipped to defend it. Bishop e2, I just take. The rooks are trapped in the corner, and the knight is not possible to move, and the bishop can't move. White cannot move any piece. White is on the verge of losing. If white plays g takes f3 in this position, I play bishop f3. If you try to save the rook, I play rook e8 check. I play bishop c5. At the very least, I'm getting my rook back, and your king is stuck in a net. I'll probably mate you at some point in the future. If not, I'll take all your pieces. So the only way to save the king, sometimes the king needs to stop being a beta and stand up for himself. He's got to run. The king's just got to go. All right? King to f2. Black plays rook e8, cutting off the circulation. The king's only move is now king to g1. But now, pawn takes f3. Why now? Because after bishop takes f3, I just showed you rook g1 is not possible. But you're not going to go rook g1, are you? No. You're going to start fighting back. Sometimes the safety of your position necessitates some sacrifice. Bishop c4. The rook is gone. The rook will perish. But in the time that it takes black to take the rook, you will get all your pieces out. Bishop takes h1. Now, pawn to d4. White has an active bishop. White has a second active bishop. White is about to have an active rook. In just a couple of moves, for the cost of the material that you were up, you have given it back. You haven't gotten a good ROI, but you haven't lost that much money, all right? Which nowadays is a big win because the economy was pretty crazy in 2021. Black plays h6, defending against the movement of the bishop. Now, white is unable to play bishop takes g5 because of pawn takes g5. So instead of that, in this position, GothamChess plays bishop takes g5 anyway, because screw your logic. Bishop takes g5 is just trying to get the rook to take this. Now, black can try to escape, but it ain't gonna work because I'll take the knight. So we have this. White is still up 2 points of material. If you count the pawns, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. Black only has 4. In fact, black is about to have 3. However, the knight is still trapped on the edge of the board. Rook e4. Bishop takes f7. Rook takes d4. King to e3. Now, you may be asking, isn't that a free pawn? I might be answering yes, it's an absolute free pawn. However, white's idea, computers are so ridiculous in chess. Black plays this, by the way. Why? Because the rook is better on its active position. It's better for black to go after this pawn and keep the rook active, because if you take this pawn immediately, I seal you out. You are now not getting back into this game. King d3, and I'm going to build a wall so your rook doesn't get in. Rook a5 is possible, but I seal you out. This is crazy. Rook a2 to try to break through. I have rook d1, and I'm going to set up an attack on your king with c5. It's crazy stuff. So instead of that, we have rook f4. By the way, white's knight is still trapped on the edge of the board. Bishop d5, and now black is going for the knight. Finally, white pushes the pawn to f7. It's a square away from promotion. The knight has been captured, but a6... knocking on the door, king to e2, king b8, pawn takes b7, and white has 3 pawns for the knight. Somehow, after all of that, white has gotten back the material. Black plays knight e7, trying to win the bishop, and now we will have a ridiculous maneuvering piece endgame of the bots. Now, if you just look at this position, it looks like black should just win. I think most humans here would lose as white, because black just has a knight. Black's just up a knight. Bishop c5, rook e4, knight f4. Like, as long as you don't accidentally blunder a promotion, you'll be fine. And probably you will win the h2 pawn, and then you'll promote your own pawn here. All right? The way that Lila defends this endgame, inviting knight takes bishop, inviting rook and bishop versus rook, understanding that black doesn't have enough pawns to win it, because rook and bishop versus rook is a draw. This is so fascinating. Bishop b3 back. All right, knight g6. Whoops. Rook d4. Black wins one of the pawns, by the way. Like, black just straight up wins one of the pawns and has an opportunity to win the second pawn. But if you play knight takes h2, I have check. If you go up, I deflect your rook from the defense of the promotion. And if you go back, I go here and I promote. So you're actually unable to win the pawn on h2. Instead, you have to dance around. Now we've traded off our kind of remaining pawns. And this is unlosable at bot level. And these bots shuffle and shuffle and shuffle. Let me drink some tea, some coffee. I got a little nitro cold brew. And this goes on and on and on. And and on 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 and on. Now black makes a little bit of progress, looking like a little bit of progress is definitely being made. You're gonna push that A pawn. The computer's like bugging out now. Yeah, TLDR. This game took a very long time. I'm gonna fast forward to move 158. And then I'm gonna fast forward to move 187. And this is what the position looked like. It took them over 100 moves to figure out this game. But when the bots play the King's Gambit, I mean, it breaks like all of the laws of the universe in the chess world. And the position that the bots obtained was just ridiculous. I mean, Black just lost a rook, fought back with knight, bishop, and queen. And what was this? I mean, hanging the knight? Hanging the knight to activate the bishop and the rook, and White was almost lost. White needed to sack the rook back for defensive measures, then sack the bishop and get here, and slowly but surely just lost the knight in the corner, but was able to pick up a few pawns for it and survive this endgame. So, yeah, King's Gambit, probably a little bit too dangerous at bot level. They also played another King's Gambit, because I just said that they have to play one game with White and Black. That one was not as eventful, but yeah, let me know if you'd like me to cover the other games. This is what happens when 3,600 ELO bots play the most ridiculous opening known to humankind, which is the King's Gambit. Weird, dank stuff happens. I mean, they start sacrificing all their pieces, and it's craziness. It's pure. Maybe I will pair Stockfish and Leela to play like 50 King's Gambits against each other. Maybe that's how we'll farm some content out of them. We'll see. But let me know if you enjoyed, and let me know if you want me to cover the match in its entirety. Get out of here.